We are live here at Smoke and Barrel Cigar Bar Lounge in Mount Holly, North Carolina. Charlotte is the gateway to Mount Holly, if y'all didn't know that. And we are joined today by the cigar extraordinaire T. Crocker, Charles Wilkerson, a.k.a. Whiskey Tango Charlie,
My man.
and myself, Brian Huff. We are excited to be here. We've got T's favorite from 2022. T, what's your favorite from 2022?
Buffalo Trace and Buffalo Trace.
So we got the double barrel today. You call this a win-win. So yeah, this is exciting because I know Charlie's going to share some great information and great stories about Buffalo Trace and his history with them. We'll talk a little bit about the cigar. But you know, what else can you say?
Man, what a fantastic pairing. Thank you, T.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I threw out a pairing and she's like, whoa, when are we going to do mine?
Mm-hmm.
And we had just gotten in our order of Buffalo Trace cigars, which is why we haven't been able to do it. They've been on back order. We got the Robusto.
Right.
The Sumatra wrapper tames it a little bit, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's a little full body. It's a little more than I thought.
So this is my first cigar. I mean, obviously we've all had. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to sip on some Buffalo Trace
Yes.
bourbon. This is my first cigar. I started to pick some up when I was at the distillery, but I thought, I'll wait. I'll make my purchases with the place that really counts. Right? So, right from the light up, man, this is a really good stick. I mean, it's medium. Ish, right? But really good stuff.
So it was, because everybody's first question is, well, is it infused with Buffalo Trace? And the answer is no. But it is it is barrel aged in Palito Cubano and Nicaraguan. So it's barrel aged in that Nicaragua long fillers. It's from Dominican Republic, so that's the origin of it. Ecuadorian Sumatra wrap, and you know, I think what you find is it rides right with each other. It's a General Cigar manufactured cigar.
Which I didn't know.
General Cigar manufactures it for Buffalo Trace.
Right.
The interesting part is, to my knowledge, Steve, they don't distribute it. Interesting. So even though General Cigar does it, they don't distribute it through their company.
Right.
So we have to kind of find it when we bring it in. But it's good. I mean, I love it right off the light. So
Good stuff.
let me share this. T shared a Instagram video of Rocky Patel talking about humidity. So I thought it'd be a good time to do a little, because I learned a few things, and share that with everyone. So when a cigar is actually being wrapped and put together in the factory, they keep the cigar at 17 to 18% humidity. The moisture, keep it more because it's pliable, it's easier to work with. When it rests before it's shipped out, they get the humidity down to about 10% in the cigar. And that's where you need to keep it. Now, we live in North Carolina. We have a fairly humid, 9 months out of the year, it's pretty humid around here. But we keep our humidity in our humidors at 70%. That's the general rule. 68, 72. If it gets too much, it gets soft, and you need to go down in humidity. When they start getting hard, you need to increase your moisture, and especially somewhere in the Southwest, where it's drier air. Denver, very dry. New Mexico, that area is going to need to be more diligent about filling their humidors with distilled water. So it leads me to the next question. Well, how do we check the humidity in a cigar? So I called our trusty cigar goddess. Hello, cigar goddess, if you're out there watching. And I asked her the question. Now, she was not aware of a way to measure the internal cigars. She said it's more about feel, and which is fine. But curious as we are, I didn't want to stop there. So Charles and I were talking about it. He says, they have those humidity, the moisture detectors they put in wood, and have these prongs on them. Because all the humidity checkers, thermometers, whatever I was looking at, had these big round gauges on the end of them. The prong was too big.
Yeah.
So we went to Amazon. I have ordered a moisture checker, a moisture probe that we're going to be able to stick in a cigar, because it's going to be small enough that we can test it. And I'm just curious to see, make sure we're keeping them at the right level.
It works. They work. I've seen them before.
You mean the probe? Tomorrow? Cool. But thank you for sending that. Very educational. We appreciate that.
Interesting that you've got a room, we call it humidor, but a room, 70%. I would have thought that cigars would soak up more moisture than that. Being in a climate-controlled 70% humidity room, I would have thought somehow they would soak up more than that.
I agree.
It's interesting.
And you want your cigars to rest, and you want them to acclimate. We try to get them out on the shelf as soon as we can when they come in. Theoretically, it's better to let them sit for 2 or 3 days after they come in to kind of acclimate, because they travel from all over the Southeast, really. Anywhere from Louisiana down to Nicaragua. And, they arrive in Miami and then are shipped out to either the distributor, which could be in Tampa, it could be anywhere, and then sent here. So it's got travel time that you kind of want to let it.
So the boxes, when they ship those things, are like cellophane wrapped. I mean, they're kind of maybe not totally airtight, but I mean they're not traveling in just open.
No, yeah, right. I mean, they're wrapped and they're on pallets, and they bring them in like you'd imagine. So apparently LFD, it's a curious. I think all the cigar guys get together and say, we're going to ship at the same time and fill all your back orders in the same week at the same time.
Yeah.
That's all we've done all week.
That's all. I mean, every time I turn around, it's
I didn't order.
Last week and this week.
I didn't order.
It's just coming in.
This is coming in.
I looked at her, I said, you've ordered enough. So we just got to start getting some of it in, and if you're going to sell it, you got to have it, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I say don't order, it's like
you almost got to have your own system then, like a spreadsheet. Like, these are things I've ordered, and then check them when they come.
I have a log.
Because otherwise, I know Carol Lee says that. So I'm surprised somebody in the industry doesn't have that set up. But it's the same thing that we get into. We'll order paper, and some of my cartons of paper gets on back order, and then I catch myself, or we catch, because we didn't know, and then there's another order, and all of a sudden one day 10 cartons of paper order up, show up. It's all the same stuff. I'm like, well, who ordered all this, right?
Right.
We really only need to keep 3 or 4.
We do have one of our reps who, when things are on back order, doesn't keep adding to the back order.
Oh, cool.
That's helpful. Now, this other company, I will only call them LFD. If it's on your order and it comes, you're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting ready to hit your card. All right, well, you want to give me a little insight on what you're hitting my card with, and then what's going to be in the box? Hey, Cookie Man, what's in the box?
Facts.
We got one new line of LFD that came in. I'm anxious to try. It's Solace.
Mm-hmm. That's the new one. Yeah.
That's the new one. So it'll be good. But we got all our favorites in except we didn't get the Bull, but still waiting. Hopefully we'll get it again next year. But we finally did sell out of them. That was a good special we ran, so it was good.
Yeah.
So, Buffalo Trace. T, we got to get you up to Buffalo Trace. You got to go take the tour.
Yes. It's on my bucket list.
Buffalo Trace.
Yes. I want to do that.
It is the Mecca, I guess you would. Nowadays, it's changed so much since the first time I've been there.
Oh, yeah?
You know, we went over, Troy and I, when we were up there in January. I said, come on, and he'd never been. I was like, come on. And then I was kind of pointing out, well, it's kind of interesting when you go there now. The place where they have you to come and do a check-in, I guess it's guest check-in to get your armband and all that stuff to go on tours and all, or even go to the gift shop.
Right, you get that on.
And it was a little room about the size of the cigar lounge here,
Yeah,
right? So
where you
it's
check in. Yeah,
That was where I did one of my first tours. You would come and show up, and you would go to, you'd really go into the other, where the gift shop over that way.
Right.
Check in, and then they would take you over, and you would sit on these little benches, and they had a video that they played in that building, in that room.
I could see that. I could see that.
And
Yeah.
then she would take you from that, and you would go over and walk the Rick House, and then blah, 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 go through the Blanton's, where they do the Blanton's bottling, and then you would come to the tasting room.
But you said the Rick House. Was there more than one Rick House at that time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
But
I was like,
they sort of moved you over, and it was basically, you could almost see it. And the whole thing was, with the tour was really within a walking, probably about as much as a block right there. Because you'd kind of come out of that, and you'd go over to that Rick House, and they would show you that, and then you'd go over to where the Blanton's is next door to the thing, and and then you would go to the tasting room. So, but now, I mean,
but they've got a building for E.H. Taylor. They got a building for Weller's. They got a building for and
So
they
I'm gonna ask you this. So were they actually?
a Rick House. That's what I'm saying.
So were they stored? So each brand has a Rick House where they store.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and
what
they
I
tell you
wanted.
the story of Colonel E.H. Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah.
His relationship to Buffalo Trace and why he's involved.
Okay.
Who made what, who was the original
All right.
maker of it. Oh yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. And these very similar brick that's in here, masonry.
yeah.
And older though. Those buildings are in the 1800s.
Right.
Some of them when they were built, but it looks like a little bit like our inside here.
Old brick.
From the outside, old brick masonry. It's not perfect. It's imperfect, which makes it perfect,
Yeah.
right? So it's a beautiful landscape. It's the little pond they have out front, and I mean just all the added things they've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's too modern in the gift shop. It's nice.
Oh,
don't be
yeah.
wrong, but when you look at the rest of the place, it's a more modern building.
Right.
You can tell, and inside it's shiny and it's just I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
you feel like you went okay.
It's out of place.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that the atmosphere could be different.
Right.
I mean, you don't care. All you want to know is what bottle am I getting today? Do you have it left? And how much can I buy? How much Buffalo Trace can I buy?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, really,
Right.
And what other Buffalo Trace things can I get?
Right.
Right.
So I wore my Blanton shirt
You
today.
got your Blanton shirt.
This is the breast cancer awareness. It's got the ribbon on the back.
Okay.
Now, I actually bought this online
Really?
on Instagram. Instagram ad. I guess I had been talking about Buffalo Trace,
Yeah.
right? And I follow Buffalo Trace, so now I start getting ads.
Sure.
But I rarely, if ever, order anything like that.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that was
No, it's
Huh?
the distillery
I gotta come get
is
it. I gotta come get it.
it is a fun place,
Bring it right here.
and I still have never signed up for. the one thing that they used to do, and I think they still
Really
do it,
do.
is they call the hard hat tour. And there's a very limited number of those, and so they take you back through
Thank you.
in the areas, and they can take you back in the where the actual distillery and the fermentation tanks and all that. And you can get that with some of the other distilleries anyway, but yeah, they just went through. They just launched and did the ribbon cutting. I think a few weeks ago, January-ish, I think it was. So they just opened. They're in the middle of a I think it's $1.8 billion
Upgrade. Yeah.
investment in the distillery. But they just installed, Vendome built them a new custom 84-inch column steel, 40 feet tall, copper. I mean,
Unbelievable.
84 inches. Think
This
about
is
it.
at Buffalo Trace?
At Buffalo Trace, the new, and it
Oh,
just
my
came
God.
online.
Well, they were doing construction on one of the new buildings a year and a half ago
Yeah,
when I was there.
yeah. Just came online. They just did the ribbon cutting, and the whiskey thief. I mean, it's flowing out of this thing like a river. The distillate, the White Dog, man, it is
Oh.
running out of that thing like a river.
Oh wow.
And you think about it,
And it's
they're making that as 84 inch. It's
84 inches wide.
84 inch,
And how tall?
40 feet,
That's the deal.
Right.
and they are just pumping it out.
So you remember when we went to Southern Distilling,
Oh, yeah.
the copper pot
Yeah.
steel that was
the
there?
big columns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those.
Now just double that.
Oh,
So that his is what? His is probably a 30. He might be a 36, maybe, I don't know, but
that's insane.
Yeah.
and his
That's
is probably 20 something feet. Now this is 40 feet.
Yeah. I mean, just double everything. But you know, the greatest. You smelled it, so you've been to the distillery. That yeast
Yeah.
smell is so just.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's so wonderful.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I could just smell that all day. And you know that's a cool piece of it. But I did not get to do the hard hat tour.
Right.
We went where Eagle Rare is at Rick House, and we went. I think that was the one where they show you the barrel with the plastic over glass.
Right. It shows how much.
To demonstrate how much is gone from the barrel that soaks into the wood over time. And it'll show you different levels of years. So you've got a 4-year, a 10-year, a 15-year,
Right.
and how the level goes down, and there's less to distribute.
Good old Angel
Hence,
share.
right. Hence the price. Right. It's aged longer. There's less of it. Supply and demand.
Right.
So you're going to pay more
Right.
to get that. But it's a cool process.
Cool stuff. Yeah. Buffalo Trace is, you know, I was telling Brian before we came on when I knew this pairing was coming up. And so I got so many stories about Buffalo Trace, and I just got back. I was telling Brian this, I'll share it with everybody. It's a good story. It's a very heartwarming story for me.
Yeah.
So Bill, I've told you the story. I think my entry point into bourbon was Buffalo Trace. Very good friend of mine, Bill, introduced me to Buffalo Trace.
Really.
Yeah. In fact, my very first distillery tour, I think I've told y'all that story. We were on a trip, and we didn't know about the Buffalo, the Bourbon Trail.
Wave.
I know.
So the Bourbon Trail was out there. We didn't even know about it. It was in
Can you leave
infancy.
the bottle?
But you know, we were traveling up through Kentucky.
Sorry, Charles. We're taking care of some real important business.
Yeah, and you know, so there's this big old brown sign that said Buffalo Trace Distilling, and then the minivan left the highway, and thus was my very first distillery tour with Bill and our wives that needed to go to the bathroom. But anyway, last week was up at I was just telling Brian this. Last week we had to make a little trip up to Pittsburgh. Bill's father had passed,
Oh, really?
And so we wanted to go up there and be with the family. But I took 2 bottles of bourbon with me because the whole family and everybody's kind of staying at the same hotel up there. And I took a bottle of Buffalo Trace, and I didn't even have a full bottle in my possession. It was probably a little less than that. I took a bottle of Buffalo Trace, and I took a bottle of Bourbon 30 that Bill and I had been on a trip about 2 years ago, and we put together our own, and it was called Bill's Blend. And I wanted to share it with Bill and his brother and family and have a pour with them and have a toast to Bill's father. And it was all about, Bill and I started our journey with Buffalo Trace 25 plus years ago.
Right.
And then we had another pour of the Bill's Blend, and I said, because bourbon is a journey,
Yeah.
right? And we talk about this a lot on this thing, and it's about that. And I shared these pours with them, and we did a toast to Bill's father, and the Bill and his brother and his cousins and all would just, it was very touching, and it was a good story, and they were very appreciative of sharing. Because, we talk about this, it's about sharing. But bourbon's about sharing.
Absolutely.
And times with your special times. And anyway, it was a really cool. It was one of those, another time of Buffalo Trace in my life.
Right.
And I mean, I got all kind of stories about Buffalo Trace, but along that was the story that I think I don't know if I told y'all the story. So one of my second time on a tour up there, I had a gentleman that took me and my boys, my sons, and we did a tour up there. And this is again 20 plus years ago. And the gentleman taking me on the tour was mesmerizing. The stories he was telling was just so. I was like, oh my gosh. And this was the gentleman that looked at me in the tasting room and said, "Sir, what is the best bourbon there is in the world?" Right?
Right.
Told you the story, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Well, the gentleman was Freddie Johnson. And so now you fast forward many years later, and he's the brand ambassador for,
He's
for
the
them.
icon of Buffalo Trace now.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
here's the coolest story I can give you. So that was quite amazing. And I've told the story about Freddie Johnson at a lot of my tastings, how amazing it is. But he said it is, we talk about this. It is the bourbon that you've got in your glass that you're sharing with friends right now. That is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Don't matter what the brand is. It is that glass, right? So Troy and I were in Kentucky in January. We're at BourbonCon. And we were talking to one of the bourbon vendors there, and Freddie Johnson walks right up beside me, and he says, and he knew the folks that we were talking to, and he was shaking hands, and I looked over and I was like, oh my goodness. So I have a chance to meet him again some 20-something years later.
Mm-hmm.
I share with him the story that had happened to me at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. And I told him, I said, Freddie, I've shared that story hundreds of times at tasting events over the past 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And I would tell you something. He is as genuine and as nice and as open. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
And it's just Freddie. I mean,
Yeah.
he really is. And he thanked me for the story, shook my hand. He says, I appreciate you sharing that with me because it means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's those people you touch, and you don't really know what happens after that. So
Right.
anyway,
Well, but somebody like Freddie, I saw him in the Netflix special.
yeah,
That was the first time I saw, ever heard of it.
right,
And these guys now, think about the industry we're in. Think about these guys. They're all millionaires.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But you'd never know. Anything has changed for them financially in the last 25 years. They're the same people everywhere you go. I think it's the Kentucky culture. It's like everywhere you go, they are so excited about what they're doing.
right.
Excuse me. And they take great pride in the quality and what they do and the history and just everybody there And Buffalo Trace is no exception. As it's the most, I mean, I guess it's the most popular in the world. I would imagine. I have no idea. Let's say United States, for
Right.
sure. And the number of brands. So Sazerac owns Buffalo Trace.
Right.
Is that correct? So you have Sazerac Rye, okay, and they have this whole umbrella of bourbons
Okay.
that they do that you don't realize they do.
Right.
And from the antique collection is one thing, and everybody knows Pappy, right? Everybody
Sure.
knows it.
Right.
Sure.
You get a Pappy 23, you never drink it. It's not that great. It's okay. I'm not down on it, but for the amount of money that you're going to pay for it, you might as well just leave that on the shelf and admire it, really.
Yeah.
And then drink the, Buffalo Trace. But then you go to the Sazerac Rise and you go to these others and Wellers. And, I mean, you just keep going, and they're all quality.
Right.
And the quality control they have and the way they do things, and they've
Right.
got a system. You'd think over the years it gets old, right? Or mundane or just monotonous, but it doesn't.
Which is so funny. So Freddie's background. So he retired from the corporate world, left the corporate world, and came back. He tells the story in Netflix. Came back to Kentucky to take care of his father. Last couple years of his life, and it was not in his plan to be
Right.
back at Buffalo Trace. Right, that was not in. I'm corporate. I'm retired. I'm just going to chill out. Well, they pulled him back in, and
Yeah.
third generation guy now, because he grew up there. He
Right.
grew up running through the rick houses and all with his father, and but it's just to me it's really about the openness and how he's so approachable.
Yeah.
And it's someplace, people get the famous thing that they're like, they're kind of standoffish and all, and but he's not. He is the real deal. And I was really pleased to shake his hand, get a picture with him, and all that. But more importantly, to share the story about here's a guy that he touched 25 years ago, sharing stories that he gave to, my experience with him all these many years. And now I can tell the story of meeting him again 25 years later,
Right.
and it's the best.
And you never know how you impact somebody.
Right.
Whether you're coaching kids or giving a tour at Buffalo Trace, you don't know the impact you can have on someone else's life to enrich their lives.
Yeah.
And that's always something to keep in mind whenever you're doing something, is to always try to be that person, right? That's what you'd like to be all the time. But that's a great story. I love that story. And there's so many great stories that surround cigars and bourbon.
Oh, absolutely.
And relationships that are developed over the years.
Yep.
Jeff comes to mind at Bourbon 30. Just over the years, you kind of get to know people, you get
Right.
relationships built. Scott McClure,
Good.
another great example, a great guy, great family, great history.
Oh yeah, well, history.
One of the
this
most
is-
interesting.
This is kind of history of Charlotte,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Think about it. This is local.
It's cool because Charlotte, hasn't always been this fastest growing town in America type thing, right? Charlotte was just a hometown place in the 70s,
This is
the
Bible
50s,
Belt,
60s,
right?
70s.
This is
yeah.
Bible Belt, so,
Right.
So I remember people saying when they
Billy
first,
Graham, yeah.
when they first came into here, and you get a lot of folks that come here for business or what and travel, but you hear some people that came back in the day, and they were like, they went to a restaurant or something, and they want to get a cocktail.
Right.
Okay, well we'll bring you a mixer. Do you have your? And they were like, what? Well, yeah, brown bag, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
They didn't know what a brown what.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's
No,
that?
no, you have to go down there to the liquor store and get your bottle and bring it in the brown bag.
Right.
We'll bring your mixers and then you do your own. And they were like, these guys were funny. It was like, what country am I in here?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
So,
You imagine moving to Mount Holly 20 years ago? You couldn't
was
get
dry
any.
county.
It's dry.
it was dry.
The entire county had been dry. Now, there were a few like Gastonia and Belmont who had cities had
Right.
gone in and voted for it. But people would move here and they go, "What do you mean I can't go to the store and buy beer? I can't go to the liquor store here? I mean, you know, they're
Kings
coming
Mountain was
from
the same
all
way.
over the country."
Kings Mountain was the exact same way.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the exact same way. You couldn't buy alcohol before 12 on Sunday, and oh yeah,
Well, that just changed recently
yeah,
Right.
to 10.
yeah,
Still can't go at 7 in the morning, but you can
Right.
go at 10.
You can go 10.
yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're
But-
coming up in the world, man.
Yeah.
And you can go to the distilleries on Sunday and buy a bottle of bourbon or whiskeys, right?
in Kentucky.
No, here.
Oh, here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they changed that. So
That's right.
Yeah.
ABC stores are not open, but if you want to go get
Do
a
a
bottle,
tour. Go do a tour.
So
go
you
up to
know,
the States,
I told
we'll
y'all
get you
this.
one,
I
or
told
they-
you this story, but you can go to distilleries now and you can only buy 3 bottles. Before you could only buy 1.
right?
And I told y'all this story of how that changed.
Yeah.
We had a legislator who goes to Muddy River Distillery and he's taken with all this stuff. He's like, "Oh, well, I need to buy Queen Charlotte,
Right, right.
Spice and all that." And, "Sir, we can only sell you 1 bottle." He goes, "Why? That's a North Carolina law." It is.
Yeah.
So he wanted to buy 3 bottles.
Right.
Hence, the change in the law is 3 bottles because that's how many he wanted to buy. Is that like what?
So he went to work Monday morning to change the law.
He
Probably
got
did.
changed.
Probably did. They
But why
must-
not a case? I mean, what is
Well, they must
magic
have,
about
I
that?
think they've changed it because they must have changed that again because when I was up at when they opened it up for Sunday sales, Southern had a big party, I guess you will say, up there. And I went up because they were doing a release of the Paragon on that day just to celebrate the first Sunday sales at the distillery. Blah,
Right.
blah. I bought a case from them. So,
Okay.
So I think you're right. I think it was 1,
Yeah.
then it went to 3, but I think they must have upped it again. I'm just saying. 'Cause
Well-
they wouldn't have let me buy more than
This all goes back to the ABC Commission
right,
and not allowing mail order sales. That's illegal.
right.
You know, buying outside the ABC system, you take it out of that system.
Right.
Who's not getting the money?
Right. Well, they got get this. They got to get their tax. I mean, they get the tax money, but
Yeah.
um,
So that's, I mean, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. If you're doing your job, right, and supplying everybody with bourbon or whiskey or alcohol,
right,
you don't have to worry about that.
right,
It's my opinion.
right. No,
I
absolutely.
mean, I'd much rather drive down the store and buy Buffalo Trace. Well, you can't hardly get it. Weller's, no way.
right,
I mean, name a store you can walk in and buy Weller's right now.
right,
Not, especially 107, you're not going to get it.
right, right.
It was like I was telling Brian. A lot of times, here lately, I've had to go back to Kings Mountain and help my son out for a little bit. So I make it a habit, stop at the gas station, and then right across from the gas station is the ABC store. So I walk in, and y'all spoil me. It's your fault, Charlie. It's your fault.
Okay.
Because I'll go in there and ask for stuff knowing they don't have it.
Right.
I go, and I'm standing and I'm looking at the bourbon, and the guy behind the counter says, "Can I help you with something?
Yeah.
Got it in Cleveland Underground?" No, we don't have none of that. All right. Well, I'll take this bottle of Larceny.
Yeah.
So last time I went, I walked in and went back to Bourbon Chef, and I'm standing there and I'm looking. Can I help you find something? He said, still no Cleveland Underground? No, she didn't order any. I said, oh, okay. I guess I get this bottle of Yellowstone. Grab a bottle of Yellowstone. It's like, I guess he had figured out that I'm trying to get him to get more stuff. but-
Always keep asking.
Yeah.
Always keep asking.
Yeah.
And I'll give them a testimonial on Cleveland Underground. We tried it.
Sure.
We got it in the Mount Holly ABC store. Mike Youngs,
Yeah.
he introduced me to it.
Yep.
And, it's more of an infused process, which is kind of
Right.
a newer process.
Right.
And I was like, all right, we'll try it. We'll bring it in. And, man, now we go through some Cleveland Underground. It's
And
good.
I'm gonna tell you a story about Cleveland Underground. So I go to Mount Holly ABC store, and I look. I said, I think I get a bottle of this. Well, the first time I went and asked for Cleveland Underground, they had to go back in the back to get it. I said, oh yeah, it just came in on the truck. Oh, okay, cool. I'll wait right here. They come out, give him a bottle. So I guess the guy actually know my face now or whatever. Because last time I went in and I was looking, I was like, oh man. He's like, you the one want the Cleveland Underground, don't you? I was like, yes. He's like, I got some in the back. Okay, I'll take it.
Go.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I guess the strategy there is so food and beverage get the first dibs on
Right.
what comes in,
Yeah.
because the general theory is if you're going to go to a bar and try it, then you might go buy it. So that's why I kind of do that.
Yeah.
So I know we have Cleveland Underground for the bars.
Right.
So that's why.
Yeah.
All right, so the Mook. Hello to the Mook. Thanks for listening today.
He was in here the other day.
And the Mook was here Sunday, as a matter of fact. So let me read this to you. This is from Buffalo Trace Daily.
Oh yeah. Cool.
What is sold today and predictions for tomorrow? This is what it said. My husband and I went to, this is a testimonial by a lady. My husband and I went to Buffalo Trace this morning about 10 o'clock, and it says 3 minutes ago, so this might be like right now.
Wow.
When we were checking in at the visitor center, we were asked if we had any interest in a tour.
Really?
You know how they sell out like that
Yeah.
as soon as they come up?
Wow.
The 90-minute hard tour,
Hard hat tour. Yeah.
hard
yeah,
hat tour,
Yeah.
had 2 openings and was starting in 45 minutes. Please never give up on getting a tour. My son was visiting a few months ago. The same thing happened, and I got him on a tour too. We also walked in today and got our 2 bottles of E.H. Taylor before it sold out around 10:15.
Oh wow.
Good luck, everybody. That's what it says.
Oh my
And
God.
sell out. So they have an allocation for the day.
Yep.
Okay.
Obviously, they have a certain number of bottles that they're going to allocate to
Yep.
sale,
Yep.
right? And when they're
Done.
gone, they're gone. When we got there, it was Blanton's.
Right.
Or no, it was Eagle Rare,
Eagle Rare.
and they were out. And we were just taking our time.
Right.
Went to Bourbon 30, then we
Right.
went over there, and it was 2 o'clock tour. I said, I was going on the tour to get the pick of the
Right.
day.
Right.
Because if you're on the tour, you bypass this line, and the line goes on for
Sure.
ever
Oh wow.
Sure.
when they open up.
Sure.
I guess at 8 o'clock or whatever. So
Right.
you go past that, get on the tour, and then they take you in the back door of the gift shop, and they give you your 2 bottle, a bottle each. So you have 2
Right.
people, 1 each, and then you can buy a bottle of Buffalo Trace each, and whatever else that you can find. But that's all they usually have out there is Buffalo
Sure.
Trace.
Sure.
So they don't have any of the other stuff that you can just go buy a bottle of, except Bourbon of the Day, if they still have it.
Right.
So when I was like, what? And we almost drove back because it's 40 minutes or so from Louisville, where we were staying, and they have a predictor of somebody does an analysis of E.H. Taylor, Weller's, and Blanton's in the rotation, right?
Right.
And so they'll predict, because it hasn't happened in so many days.
Wow.
the percentage chance that it's going to be this when you show up.
Wow.
So we were
Oh
just
my
going to
God.
show up and do it, but we decided not to.
Oh man. Well, that's the way how sophisticated the hunters have become.
Oh yeah.
You know, they know. They know. It's so funny. I had conversations with some of the store managers from over in Belmont when they did our class, and I was saying, well, you know, hey, you guys got to be wore out. Oh yeah. It's just like, do you have any? No. Before they even get it out, they just say no. But this is the one thing the lady shared with me from over there. She said they know when our truck shows up.
Oh sure.
They know when the delivery, what day it is, and what time the delivery truck comes.
Absolutely.
And they come in the door within an hour after that truck leaves. Within that first hour,
Yeah.
what you got on the truck today?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
God, I was like,
I call
You
on
call?
Thursdays.
Oh.
So it's every other Thursday that Mount Holly gets their
okay,
delivery. So this Thursday, no, we just got one. So 2 weeks from this past Thursday, a week next week,
right,
we'll get another delivery, and I'm on the phone. I try to give them some time because it's a lot of work.
right,
So I give them a little time. So I call around noon,
right.
and same person always answers.
Right.
She knows it's me calling. She sees it on caller ID. She knows who it is. And as soon as they answer, either no, we didn't get anything, or yeah, we got this stuff called E.H. Taylor. I went, how much you got?
Right.
I want it all, and I want it now.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's
So you just
such
tape
a-
your name to the box.
the business. You're trying to run an establishment here, and I
Well,
get that.
you try to position yourself in this community of bourbon guys, and I mean tequila.
right.
Well, I mean, look at our Scotch. I mean,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
those are things that you try to say, hey, I know Smoking Barrel's got it.
Right.
They got Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, Blanton's, Wellers 107, you know, on and on. Boss Hog
And Boss Hog and the Humidor's full.
and the Humidor's for them. And we have Buffalo Trace cigars.
Yeah, and
But nobody's bought the Boss Hog yet.
it's coming.
But I am telling you, it will be the best bourbon you have ever tried. Bar none.
It's
Bar none.
it's very tasty. The previous, I don't remember which one it was. It was 3 or 4 or something. It was several years ago that I had the last time I had it, and it was good, very good. But this new one is it's extremely tasty. I mean,
It only retails for $638 a bottle.
Sorry.
But we did have some.
we had to pour that.
We got to get T over to my hideout so she can try it.
Yes.
I still have some left. I look at it occasionally, and I'm thinking, is this a special enough occasion?
But
No.
this is my only request.
Right.
If I'm coming to have Boss Hog, I gotta have a steak before. I'm just saying.
Hey, you go buy you a steak.
I'm just saying. I'll go buy my steak and you cook it.
You know I don't do that. I don't do that. You don't just bring any steak into my house.
Right.
I go to the butcher shop.
Right.
I get the steak. I will cook the steak. I don't
Cool.
just bring
Sounds
any.
like we're having another dinner, Charlie.
Hey, I want to tell y'all, we went to Webb Friday. So Webb, you know I love it, but they had started putting salt on their steaks when they would do it. And me, I don't use a lot of salt. So
Right.
I'm very, it's like sugar and tea. I don't drink sweet tea anymore. And if I get it, it's like, oh my gosh, really a lot. So this past Friday, and I could ask for it not to be on there, but I usually forget. This time it was the best filet. Got it medium rare. Best filet I've had in a long time.
Wow.
That I didn't cook.
Right.
You know. you're not gonna get a better steak than you cook at home, in my opinion.
Right.
Most of the time.
Well, I attempted to enjoy my steak. I tried to enjoy my plate, and I tried to, because I was at dinner at someone else's house, I try to be respectful and eat like I was taught, But I was surrounded by some vultures.
Well, you don't stop feeding my dogs.
I ain't talking about Guinness and Chloe. I'm talking about that damn Curly, Dennis, and LaShawn.
Well, they eat your potatoes, didn't they?
They ate my damn potatoes. They ate my
Something.
damn ice cream. Like, I had to eat like I was at the damn firehouse again.
Doing like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
But we
like,
had to
what
put
is
Guinness
going
and
on?
we had to put Guinness and Chloe on a diet.
Uh-oh.
So
My
they get
poor
fed
babies.
at 7 a.m. and at 4 p.m. Now you want to talk about daylight savings time being a problem.
Uh-oh.
So now they should be fed at 8 and 5.
Right.
Uh-uh.
They don't play that game.
7.
They
and
don't.
4.
It's the sun. It's something, but it is like clockwork.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That dog, Guinness, Chloe stays in the crate. She can't be trusted out of a crate. She'll eat CBD gummies. She has.
Right.
So Guinness isn't. But he comes strolling in our room. Click, 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 click. It's 6:09 a.m. And Guinness doesn't lay down. He plops.
Right?
So there's nothing subtle about this guy. That's why I love him. All right, now I'm awake. 6:09. What do you got to do first wake up? Got to get up and go to the bathroom.
Right,
That's
right,
just
right.
the way it is. So now I'm up.
609.
So what do? Because they both looking at me like, dude,
Time to eat.
you're up.
Time to eat.
I love it.
That's true. Now you can set your clock by.
Yep.
So, apparently, I wasn't thinking about this time change. So I have weekends off at the airport. Thank God. And we get ready to bid for shifts again. So this young lady asked me, T, will you work for me on Sunday the 12th? Yeah, I got you. What's your start time? 3:15. What?
PM?
A.M. I said, oh shit. Yeah, I'll work for you. I set my clock for 2 a.m. So I'm out, and my clock starts going off. And I roll over and look, and the clock said 3 o'clock. I said, oh shit. So I jump up and I'm running circles around the room. And finally I just called the coordination center. I said, hey, listen. I'm supposed to be working for somebody. Their start time is 3:15. I said, I'm not gonna make it at 3:15. They was like, well, T, what time you? They was like, the time just changed. It's like 3:09 right now. What time you think you'll be here? I said, I'll be there about 3:45. I get to work. I clocked in at 3:38.
Wow.
Like I ate 4:85. I'm like, dog, I can't believe I did this. So I get to work, and I'm realizing, I'm looking around like, I guess I ain't the only one the time changed this stuff.
Right.
We had one girl, she comes strolling in. She's like, I'm here. She's like, this time change has totally screwed me up. I was like, what time is she supposed to be here? She's like, 3:15. She got there at 4:09. Like everybody was screwed up. Like,
She was an hour late. I mean,
was
that
like,
makes sense.
Look, man.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. She was like, doesn't the time change at 12?
Yeah.
He was like, no, the time changes at 2.
Yeah, 2 a.m.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God.
We got to do away with this.
Yeah.
We got to do away with it.
Man.
Just leave it standard all the
Just leave it the same time all the time. I'm good. Hopefully we'll do away with it.
Yeah, old Troy said he was He went out. He flew out last Wednesday, a week ago.
Yeah.
He was going out Wednesday at about, I think it was a 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock flight, and he called me, and I said, where you at? And he said, well, I'm over at the airport. He says, we're getting ready to board here in a few minutes. I said, you go by and see T? He said, I asked wherever he went through. So he was going to Aruba.
Okay.
And he said, I asked, and they said, oh, she's over on checkpoint. And he said, yeah, she was on the other side of the airport from where he was at. So,
Oh, he must have been down at A.
And
Yeah.
you were at E.
Yeah, I'm at E.
and
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you in May.
He's like, oh,
Right.
well, I'm not going to see T.
We're going back to Jamaica.
So a guy came through. I met this gentleman at Taylor Smoke, and he used to come and we chit chat or whatever. So the other day I'm at work, and one of my coworkers is coming back toward me. He said, "T, some dude out there asking for you." I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, some dude." I was like, "Where is he?" He's like, "Oh, the bald guy right there." So I'm like, "Oh, that's a dude. I have no clue who that is."
Yeah.
So finally he comes through the checkpoint and realized, I was like, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Yeah, that's one of the guys I smoke cigars with." And he was going to Florida. He was going to Florida. And he does some coaching, baseball. He coaches baseball. And I asked him, was he going down there to recruit? He was like, "I might try while I'm down there." I was like, "Okay." So yeah, it's been, we've had some characters come through lately.
So, guys, we had a busy week
Yep.
coming up. We've got jazz tomorrow night
Yeah.
with Elements in Tune. They are back. Fitz is back. He's healthy. Love to have him back. Thank heavens he's good. Friday we have St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah, Reese is back.
We have DJ Yeti.
Elements in Tune. Reese, the percussionist,
Yeah.
he's back. He's also GTG. He lost his mother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he had to fly to
I didn't
fly to
realize
Dallas.
that happened. I'm sorry to hear that.
Lay his mother to rest. So he's back. So matter of fact, he'll be
Good?
here tonight. Yeah, he's
Good?
good. Yeah, he's
Good. Buff Dillard on Saturday.
good. Okay.
So we got the NCAA tournament. I guess it starts now.
Yeah.
So the playing games are today or
Today,
yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yesterday.
today.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
I picked my brackets. So I'm good.
Uh-oh.
I'm good. I'm going to win $1 million.
All right now.
And then Monday, hopefully, we're going to sell out for Monday. We've got a bourbon event.
Bourbon taste.
Tango.
Whiskey Tango Charlie and Troy are going to be here.
Oh, Mr. Clean coming?
Yeah,
Mr. Clean is
he gets
coming.
back tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
And he'll have a big tan. His head will be sunny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have 119 North Main Thai here catering the event.
Good food.
And man, it's got pot stickers, it's got spring rolls, we got pad thai. It's going to be incredible. So come
And
get your
then-
ticket if you hadn't got your ticket. It's a great event. We're going to have 4 bourbons that we're going to taste. We're going to have dinner. We're going to have dessert. We're having cookie surprise for dessert. And you can't eat enough of that. I promise.
Cookie surprise. Wow.
Yeah. Gina Huff's cookie surprise.
Whoop.
She decided she'd make dessert. I was like,
Saturday.
and we're leaving it here.
Saturday, GTG is having another fundraiser.
Cool.
So we'll be doing that on Saturday. So y'all come out, get you a plate. And also, we have the donations going on for the women's shelter right now. We asking everybody to drop off some toiletries. Here at Smoking Barrel, we got the bin up front. We're gonna donate everything that we collect. We're gonna donate to the women's shelter, and then we're gonna do the men's shelter in May.
Awesome.
So GTG
Fantastic.
is still working in the community.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Food is great. Don't miss out on the fish. We had to get another helping of it last time, and it was fantastic. So today, 20% off all Buffalo Trace bourbon and Buffalo Trace cigars. because we had it on the podcast. So come out, get you
Wow.
some.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us. Anything else, guys?
Oh, we got the Shamrocks and 50 Hooligans in. So if y'all want your St.
Get
Patrick's
'em while
Day
they last.
cigars, come
Hey,
get them.
We don't have a limit on them.
Yep.
Buy them while they last because they're going to be gone.
Yep.
We bought more this year, so come get them.
Nice.
Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. Always
Hey,
fun
good
talking
time.
with these guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for joining us. So we have to give the